After a week of open rebellion on the topic of Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump needs to get them off his back. And he doesn't really want any information to be released, but he has to at least act like they're gonna release something. And so for now, he's come up with this. He posted on Truth Social, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I have asked AG Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam perpetuated by the Democrats should end right now. Yeah, he seems to really care about getting justice in this. It's again, if you're one of his critics or whatever, if you're a MAGA person, he's spitting in your face again. He doesn't want to do even this, but he's doing it, so let's evaluate it. Will this actually matter? Is this actually significant? There are two reasons to believe that it's not. And I'm gonna save the one that just came out for just a minute or two. We first wanna go to the senior legal analyst at CNN, who's gonna put into scale how little this actually represents in terms of all that we know about Jeffrey Epstein and the investigation.
What Donald Trump said to do there is not to turn over all the Epstein files. I really wanna make sure people understand the context here of what he did say he wanted released, because it is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of those files. We know from the FBI's memo last week that the entirety of the Epstein files is 300 gigabytes of information. I looked it up, I talked to a tech guy. That's equal to about 100,000 ebooks. Okay, so think about a book, 300 pages, 100,000 of those. That's how much information's in the entire Epstein file. The grand jury transcripts means the written transcript that the court reporter takes of whoever went into the grand jury and testified. So already you are leaving out tons of documents. Most witnesses, as a federal prosecutor, don't even go into the grand jury. They just talk to you in a conference room, not in the grand jury. So we're talking about a 1%, 2%.
So already, if you were hoping that maybe this means we'll get to the bottom of this, we're gonna get to the bottom of 0.5% of it, perhaps. But still, that's something, right? Yeah, well, he's got a safeguard in place because since Donald Trump requested that Pam Bondi do that, she has now requested it. And by the way, the judge could block this from coming out or could slow roll it and it would take a while, but whatever, she requested it, that's something, right? Well, in the request from the Justice Department to get this info out, they said that they want redactions of anything victim related, and you can sort of understand why they would do that. Okay, you don't want to release information about the victims if they don't want it to come out, but also other personal identifying information. So in theory, the names not only of the victims, but any information about other people that could point to their identity could also be redacted in this already extremely small and carefully curated sample of the information from the investigation. So this is not only very small, Cenk, but they have added firewalls against the revelation of anyone who's actually done anything wrong.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they didn't go to this trick earlier because there's a couple of things I thought, man, they bungled the living crap out of this because there are two tricks they could have done that were so easy, but Trump's so dumb, he couldn't even think of those. One is the one that Alex Jones suggested after the fact, where he was like, oh, just say the Democrats destroyed all the evidence. He just says it on air, right? Right. And Trump's so dumb, he didn't even think of that. That's so simple, right? Oh, we had him, but son of a gun, Biden must have destroyed it all, right? And then you could say, yeah, but then why didn't you release it in your first term? But it doesn't matter, because that would have totally worked on MAGA, right? He wouldn't have lost any of his own voters if they had done that, in my opinion, right? And the second one is this, where they release some crumbs and they're like, that's it, mission accomplished, we told you. I mean, what else do you want? It sounds so official, the grand jury testimony. I mean, we're giving you 5% of 0.5%, right? And by the way, if I was them and I wanted to hide it, I would have released 2 or 3 things, all equaling about 1.5% of the news and go, that's how I talk, ladies and gentlemen, I got him. And then hope that they don't notice you're not actually prosecuting anyone.
Yeah.
You haven't said a single name and you haven't gone after a single person, right? But it probably would have worked. Now when they do this, the Wall Street Journal story rallied a lot of MAGA, as we saw earlier in the show, to Trump's side. This I don't think is gonna have much of an effect. Because to be fair to those guys, remember when they did the part 1 of the Epstein files and they had the the folders and stuff. People did actually look through the folders in the left and the right, and they were like, "Yeah, this is a nothing burger." So that trick didn't work. So like in the case of the grand jury testimony, like if they were smart, they would leave in things that are a tiny bit relevant, so they can say, well, that's real, right? But not actually name any names, not prosecute anyone, etc. But if it's complete nothing burger, then they'll have misplayed it, because then people will go back to being frustrated. That's my sense of it. What do you think, Moss?
Yeah, we live in this world of alternative facts, and the fact that they're going to take this and redact all that stuff is kind of like what they did with those January 6th tapes. They said, look, they were just tourists. Look, if we show the camera angle from this other entrance where nobody's breaking windows, then we will reveal to our followers and our constituents that this was not an attempt to overthrow democracy. So I think that you guys are right about that. This is their way of putting the crumbs out. And Cenk, you said something that was interesting. Was Alex Jones said he should have said that the Democrats got rid of the evidence. And Donald Trump's so stupid, he went the other way around and he said the Democrats created the evidence. So he was saying, all of a sudden he started blaming Obama and Biden. And there was I don't know if you saw this clip of Bill O'Reilly defending the whole thing and saying, why did the Biden administration, that when they prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein, they could have released this information. And then the person interviewing him goes, Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019. Biden did not prosecute him. And then Bill O'Reilly goes, oh, well, then I stand corrected. So they've been really just looking for the out. And it seems like you're right. The distraction now of that letter that came out is really kind of a way that's taking the shiny object out of our view. So I don't know where it's going to go. It's also, by the way, we know the guy is a bad guy. He's been a bad guy, and yet they've continued to just accept it. I don't even know if his name came out in the files, they're going to spin it somehow, right? I wasn't there for X, Y, and Z. Other people were there for X, Y, and Z, and so he's really gotten a pass, and a lot of it has to do with the Republican Party and his constituents really not caring. I think that really, he's given them the excuse to be the bigoted racist that they want to be, and they'll stand with him to the end of time.
Yeah, one quick addition to what Maz just said. So if you're a MAGA guy and you're dying for Trump not to be involved in this, and you think, well, actually that whole thing about Biden destroying the documents, that sounds pretty good. That sounds yummy, right? Well, remember, they said the documents never existed. And then Trump changed it like 3 days later to, no, they did exist, but they were fake and they were started by Obama. So, but if Obama created it, then Trump definitely had the files in his first term. Oops, he's so dumb. And this is so important, right? This is the thing his base cares so much about, that he promised them. And he's so damn lazy. He couldn't take 5 minutes to think of a good excuse. Yeah. Instead, he bungled it all over his face. Oh, they don't exist. They're fake. They were created by Obama. Yeah. So, and he even got like the most hardcore MAGA to doubt him. That's how dumb he is in how he handled this.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, there's all, like, there's the Obama made it, there's Comey, and there's blah blah blah, and maybe the whatever. There's all this stuff. It's just dust kicked up. But if you're like a MAGA person and you care about this story, and you have for a really long time, regardless of whatever the latest Truth Social message says, what he would have you believe at the basis level is that Jeffrey Epstein was the criminal and nobody else did anything wrong. The elites are all cool, they're all innocent. Do you believe that? Like, fundamentally, do you buy Trump's story that it's all a hoax and nobody else did anything wrong? There's no elite cabal of pedophiles or whatever. It was Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. That was pretty much it. For years and years and years, tons of people from the UK, the United States, wherever, on his plane, a private island. It's just him, actually. That's it. That's what Donald Trump demands that you accept as true.
Absurd, and you know it. We've been principled all throughout. We said the files should be released when it was Democrats and when it was Republicans. So we'll see how people react going forward. Are they just gonna run back to daddy and forget how much they claimed they cared about pedophiles? Or is this just one of the waves? And the next wave they come back and go, to John's point, yeah, but where are the goddamn clients?
Yeah.
Like the rest is just BS. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.